Hi guys, I'm back for part two of poultry breeds. Okay, we just finished up this one. This was the leghorn, and we said the single comb white leghorn is without a doubt the most important egg production chicken in the world. They're extremely good producers. They come in lots of different varieties. These really are backyard varieties. You'll probably only see them maybe at feed stores. A lot of times even feed stores don't carry leghorns because they have such a bad reputation. They're just crazy. They're extremely active, nervous, and non-broody, but that makes them excellent egg producers. They're small in body size. They don't eat a lot, but they lay beautiful, large, white-shelled eggs. Okay, so enough about the single comb leghorn and the Mediterranean class. Let's see what else we have. Here's a cute little bird. I had to include it because it's so unusual. So in the Mediterranean class, remember everything lays white-shelled eggs. You can tell by their vibrant white earlobe. This bird has a very unusual comb. It's the only breed of this type that has this comb, and it's called a buttercup. The bird's real name is a Sicilian buttercup, and it was developed in Sicily, which is the very end toe part of Italy, and has some very unique qualities. But the primary one is just the kind of unique comb. And then here's another kind of unusual breed that is also in the Mediterranean class. So I put this one in here so you'd remember that they have white earlobes, because if you can't remember that on this one, it's the main thing you see. But you can still see they're kind of small stature. So this breed is called a Minorca, and they are really known more for being an ornamental type breed. They're from an island in the Mediterranean called Minorca, and they're kind of unusual birds. They're not known for being good layers. They're really just known for their beauty. And obviously that large white earlobe signifies that the hens, this is a rooster, would lay large white eggs. Okay, so let's go on to the Asiatic class. The Asiatic class is a class that's very unique because the birds in this class were developed to be companion animals. They're very friendly. They are not really great egg producers, but they're very broody. So they're good at setting on eggs if you want to hatch eggs using a hen. The characteristic you can identify with them is they always have feathers on their shanks. So their feet and their lower legs are covered in feathers. And some breeds that I included was the Cochin, the Brahma, and the Langshan. So here's a Cochin. Cochins are probably the most popular, Bantam Cochins are probably the most popular breed for little kids to show. And you can see why. I don't know about you, but I just want to grab a hold of one of those things. And they are all feathers. There's not a whole lot of chicken underneath there. They look super fat, especially this one right here. She's beautiful. I think this is what they're really supposed to look like. But they are just a big ball of feathers. And like I said, they were developed, most of the Asiatic breeds were developed in China, and they were developed to be companion animals rather than to be, used for production. They are high maintenance breed because to keep them looking nice, you generally raise them in wire cages so they don't get their feet dirty, because the manure and the mud, you can imagine, would stick to those feathers that are all over their legs. You can't even see this guy, you can't even see. That's feathered shanks. Okay, so that's a Cochin, and this one is the buff Cochin. The rest of them are different colors, black, white. I think this one is a blue, but there's many varieties for the Cochin. Okay, here's another popular breed with kids. This is called a Brahma, not to be confused with Brahma cattle. They come in two different varieties, light and dark. Obviously, you can see this is the light and this is the dark, which is kind of like I think maybe it's a buff. I think I might have said that wrong. I think this might be buff, but these are definitely light. But again, they have the feathers on their shanks, docile, broody, good type of pets, but not really good for a backyard laying flock, just too unproductive. Okay, let's go on to the next class, which is the Continental class. And we have to study that because there's some really weird chickens in the Continental class. So the Continental class is pretty much from everywhere else in the world besides the English class, American, Mediterranean, and Asiatic. So the Continental class kind of takes in the rest of the origin of various breeds of chickens. So the continental birds really are a smattering of a lot of different things. So they could lay white or brown eggs. These are the ones that can be bearded and crested. I'll show you that in a minute. And they have a very unique comb, a V comb. It's kind of hard to see because it's buried in their little head feathers. They are known by connoisseurs of poultry meat and gourmet cooks for their delicious meat. They have not really been selected for a great carcass, so when I heard this, I was like, I don't know about that. But it is pretty well known that this class has some of the very tastiest chickens. And some examples are the Polish, a Wilsummer, and a Houdan. So these are both Polish, and this is a Houdan. Honestly, I don't know how to tell the difference. Maybe somebody who knows a lot about chickens can email me and tell me. I don't know how you tell the difference. What I do know is both of these breeds are crested. So this hairdo thing on their head in the world of chickens is called a crest. Underneath the crest is a tiny little V comb that sticks up right above their beak. And they also are maybe bearded. This bird is bearded right here. And the beard is like little puffy cheeks. So that's the beard and then the crested. Some are non-bearded, some are bearded, but this is the crest. And these birds are popular as 4-H. They also come in bantam, so large fowl and bantam. They are known for that tasty carcass. And they're also known for being kind of crazy because they're kind of like an old English sheepdog. They can't see where they're going. So they constantly shake their head. They shake their head all the time because they're trying to get their feathers out of their face so they can see. It makes me nervous just watching them. But anyway, you will see them at poultry shows, and they are very popular with kids just because they're very unique. I put this one in here because I have some of these and I really like them. They remind me of brown leghorns in their feathers, but I put them in here because, I live in Escalon, which is home to a lot of Italian families, but I live close to Ripon, and Ripon is where there's a lot of Dutch people. And I think that's how I got these chickens because they were leftovers at Escalon Feed, and so I got some of them. And so the Welsummers are a Dutch breed. They are very good layers. They have a red earlobe. You can kind of see it, not their wattles, but their actual earlobe is red. And they lay brown eggs. But they're supposed to be, I thought it was kind of cute. It says they're friendly and intelligent. So maybe their brain is slightly larger than a pea. And now let's talk a little bit about ducks. I love talking about ducks. So we're going to talk about ducks and geese. So exciting. So ducks, there's 4 major classes of ducks. So we don't classify ducks by where they're found in the world like we do chickens. We classify ducks by their size. And so there's heavy, medium, light, and bantam ducks. When we look at ducks, the heavy ducks are primarily the ducks that are used for meat production or for foie gras, which is for their liver. So there's 3 different breeds of meat ducks here. This is the Muscovy right here. They're known for these big red caruncles on their face. Muscovies are oftentimes used for foie gras. They have a very large liver, and they feed the birds to enlarge the liver, and that is used for, the liver pate or basically foie gras, which is very expensive. About $25 a pound is what the liver of this duck is worth. This is a white Pekin duck, and this is what is used primarily. This is probably the #1 meat breed of duck in the world. It's from China, very, very popular breed. It's also the Aflac duck when you're watching, if you see that on TV commercial. But they are white, they have a bright orange bill and bright orange legs. And this guy is a little bit less known. It's a French breed, and they're called a Rouen. And Rouens are big. They look like mallards, but they're much fatter. You can't really get them confused. These two don't really look like them, but they are very fat. So the Muscovy, the Pekin, and the Rouen are all heavy ducks, and those are meat ducks. The medium-sized ducks are really kind of an endangered species. Both of these are. I have seen cayugas before. I don't think I've ever seen a blue Swedish, but I thought they were beautiful, so I put them on here. So they're kind of critically endangered because they don't have like that commercial use. Like a Pekin duck is used in duck production for meat. But the Cayuga and the blue Swedish, so this is a Cayuga and this is a blue Swedish, can be used for all different, things. They produce eggs. You can eat their carcass, but they're primarily considered an ornamental breed. These are cool. These are the light ducks, which I have runner ducks and runner ducks. Perfect. That was a typo on my part. This one should say khaki Campbell, and you need to know that because it's on your quiz. So the khaki Campbell is the most prolific egg-producing duck in the world. It lays more eggs than a chicken does. Most people we don't eat duck eggs in the United States. We eat chicken eggs. It's just, our thing, an ethnic thing. We don't raise that many ducks. Maybe a little bit because we have a drier climate, less tropical. But the khaki Campbell is a very plain Jane looking duck, but man, they can produce lots and lots of eggs. Runner ducks are these tall, they're very tall, they stand very upright, and they run very fast. And they are also very quacky. They make a lot of noise. But those are how professionals will train border collies, and primarily border collies. We start them usually on ducks, and the specific type of duck is a runner duck. But runner ducks are also good egg producers. So the light ducks are the egg producers, the heavy ducks are the meat producers, and the medium ducks are pretty much ornamental. Call ducks are bantams. So bantam ducks are the little miniature ducks. And so call ducks are the epitome of the world's cutest duck. They're just absolutely adorable. They look like a little rubber duck. They can't hatch themselves, so they have to have help being hatched. They're called call ducks because they used to tie them in the reeds and they would quack so much. They're like constant talkers. They just quack, 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 quack all the time. And they are known for drawing in other waterfowl. And so hunters would use them to draw in waterfowl, and that is illegal today, but they would do that. Okay, so let's talk about geese. I got to go through this fast. I only have 3 minutes. So geese are in the heavy, medium, or light class. Geese were much more popular historically than they are today. People would use geese to weed fields. Geese are big vegetation eaters. They eat more vegetation than, say, ducks, which are more seed eaters and more foragers. Geese are good watchdogs. And remember the terminology, a goose is a female, a gander is a male. So the heavy geese are the meat category. So you have the Emden, the Toulouse, and the African. The African has this black knob on its head, and all of these are very large-bodied. There's very little goose production commercial for meat in the U.S. It is kind of a specialty market. And then we have a medium geese. I only have one. It's called the Sebastopol. I wanted you to see it because it's known for these kind of curly feathers. And then the American Buff is another medium goose breed, primarily for ornamental and show type birds. And then last but not least are the light goose breeds, and that is the Canadian goose and the Egyptian goose. Canadian geese are, related to wild geese. But they are domesticated, and they're just kept primarily for show purposes. They're beautiful, pretty to have around in a pond or something. Same with the Egyptian geese, though. If you look at them, they look mean. They are mean. I have a friend who raised these, and they are just the meanest things on 2 legs. But anyway, so that's the light goose breeds, and I think that about rounds it up. So with that, I'm done talking to you about poultry breeds. All right, talk to you later. Bye.